Fools, everybody. What if you didn't have a stack? What if you woke up on April Fool's Day and instead of having something like this that you can pull out, look at, manage, trade, sell, buy, what if you had absolutely ugats? Okay, that's Italian for you know what. Hey, good morning. And, I thought I'd talk a little bit about silver today and just recognize that we are in a really outstanding time period here with silver back over 24 and really wanting to punch up through the 2470 ceiling. I didn't know if it would happen, but certainly gold keeps taking a run at 2000. And I think we're in a little bit of different times here. So I thought I'd pull out a variety of bars just as the sun comes out right in my eyes and just kind of go through what the strategy will be here. But what if you never started stacking? What if you never started buying the stuff? What would you have instead? Would you have more tennis shoes? Would you have comic books? Would you have, a brand new car depreciating in the driveway? Maybe you would have put it in the stock market and done okay until you didn't. But I'd be curious, what would you have done with the money that you put in precious metals? And I know a lot of people have under 1,000 ounces and you're just getting started. But if you don't start, you can't get to a spot where you have a sizable stack. And I'm going to call it the 1,000-ounce club, but I'd really like to shout you guys out. When you get to 1,000 ounces, when you newer stackers, do that Herculean feat of putting 1,000 ounces of silver away, let me know, and I'll ring a bell or something for you, because I think that is a substantial accomplishment. I've been doing this for about 9 years now, and granted, I have a pretty eclectic stack. I have my share of, classic bars. I have my constitutional. Here's a big pile of Jaeger's poured silver, which I think was purchased around 16 an ounce, 17. Jaeger's used to have grab bags back when silver was 14. And when silver, get this a little steady here, when silver was 14, nobody wanted it, okay? Nobody wanted it at 14. They all thought it was going lower, possibly going to 8. Yeah, all of that could have happened, but it didn't. Fast forward now at 24, so that's, nearly 70% in the last 7 or so years. Of course, it is about 30% over the last couple of months. Remember when silver was 18? Well, I don't think we're going to see 18 again, and I don't even know if we're going to see 20 again. Pardon my jiggle. I bought these Mercs from APMEX, and I don't know, they were probably 17 times face or something like that. And they've gotten more expensive and less expensive and more expensive again. Let's just go through some of the silver, and give me 1 second here. I got to get the sun out of my eyes and off of my stack. All right, I'm back, and that sun pokes out right at the wrong time, or exactly at the wrong time. Let's go ahead and start from left to right. Okay, and I'll tell you what I'm trying to do or thinking about doing as prices move up here. And it seems to me we are going to take a run, maybe a moonshot, maybe not. Maybe it gets over 25 and stalls between 25 and 30. Or maybe it shoots the moon. I don't know. And it could repel back to 22, in which case you'll want to find something to buy, I think. But let's say you've got a stack, you're in the 1,000-ounce club, but it's kind of a diverse stack like mine. So I'm just going to go through some of my things and tell you what I'm planning to do. I've always recommended diversity in stacking between silver and gold, numismatics, semi-numismatics, bullion. But my taste runs a little richer than most. And you'll find that some of the stuff here I paid up a little bit over what you might pay for the cheapest bullion. I think that has the best potential personally when you have something with some sizzle, right? Something that somebody's going to want as opposed to just a plain old bar. So in my stacking and my diversified approach, I put together a date run of koalas, MS70 koalas. That's the kind of thing that I will probably be getting rid of because I want to be converting those excess premiums. And fine, there are lots of collectors out there that would like a nice MS70 koala run. But if we're going to have a move, if we're going to break up, you need to have a box of silver that you can take to the LCS, and he's going to give you, spot, $1 over spot, whatever he's paying at the time. But you can't give him something like that. He's not going to pay for it. He's probably not going to pay up for one of these Geiger bars either. That's the kind of thing I would sell peer-to-peer or on eBay. And I got those for $770. You could have got them as cheap as $740 when silver was dipping down around 20. So I'd be holding on to something like that because that'll do well in the aftermarket on eBay, perhaps peer-to-peer as well. Okay, here are some bars. The diamonds are forever bars. I bought about 100 ounces of these, the little ones and the big ones, and these are bringing about $40 now, $40 an ounce. The big one about 35 an ounce. The little one's about $40 an ounce. So that is a substantial premium on a collector semi-numismatic. I don't know exactly what to call that, a collector bar. And they were a little pricey when they came out, a little under 30. And, but if they're bringing 40, move it. Okay. Let somebody have it that wants it in their collection and rotate back into something lower premium that you can take to the LCS when if silver shoots the moon. Okay. Going left to right, there are the Eagles. Now, isn't it? I got a little sun on those, kind of a halo. Ooh. But, isn't it funny that, what was it, under 2 months ago, I sent out that alert that Silver Eagles were going for, what was it, 26.50, and then it went to 27 and 27.50, and here we are, they're sitting at $35 again. I picked these up in the 28s between, from Vermilion actually, whose premiums have also gone way up, but not as high probably as some of the other retailers. So the Eagles, if the Eagles start bringing $40 again, I'll sell them. All right. You want to buy them when the premiums are low or low-ish. I made the case that they wouldn't get much under a $6.50 premium, and that certainly proved to be true within about 2 days. But so I'll be moving my Eagles out if they hit 40. I have no problem turning $28 into $40 and reinvesting in something else. Maybe it'd be Maples, if you want to stay on the sovereign side, or maybe I'd convert back to generic. But the Eagles are on the block for me if the price appreciates. Let's keep going here. This Britannia bar, you could have got those pretty darn cheap. They don't carry a high premium, but it's another kind of a tasty bullion bar. Here is one of those Engelhard Wafflebacks, the 100 ounce. You don't want more than 10% of your stack, I would say, in 100 ounce bars. That's more likely a peer-to-peer sale. Again, not an LCS, it's an Engelhard. You could sell it on eBay, but you will lose 10% in fees. There's a few more collectible 100 ounce bars. Honestly, those will be among the last things I would sell. But if what I bought for 27 an ounce, or something like that, starts selling for 47 an ounce, I'll sell those too. These are Royal Mint RMR, half kilos, very hard to get in the United States. Again, a premium bullion bar that I would love to sell if I can make 30% or 50% on my money. Okay, we're going to go over to here, and let's see, you saw this Scottsdale bar I showed you last week. And I got a good deal on that old Scottsdale. You couldn't find that this week. Here's some poured silver, And poured silver is one of my passions, and I pour it and I collect it. That is a sterling silver domino from a young gentleman that poured these in his driveway in Florida, I believe. So I tried to support him by buying some of those. I'm pretty sure it's sterling. If you haven't poured sterling, don't even start, because it is a wicked, wicked metal to try to pour. Here are some things. A lot of my poured silver collection comes from the Bear. I'm pretty sure that's the Bear, early Bear. He started doing a lot more bars, trapezoidal bullion bars, but back in the day he was really pouring the interesting characters and whatnot. Let's see what else. Yeah, this is also a Bear. Look at the undercarriage. So if you want to know the quality of a silver pourer, yeah, there's the Bear. I think that's his old logo. Look at the undercarriage of something like that. Now, I've poured my share of Millennium Falcons. I think that's what that is. But the undercarriage, all right, that is a piece of work right there, because he captured the whole thing. He left it on the pedestal for us to admire, but that's quality. Here's a Thor anvil from a guy named High Five. I think he's gone. Here's a piece, a Death Dollar from, I don't remember. Some guys don't get their maker's mark together in time. So the poured silver, now I will probably keep the personalized pieces. Like, I would never sell something like that. It was made for me personally by the Bear, a Beatles guitar, or maybe it's a bass. I will never sell the personal items, but the generic. So let's keep going down here. I'll skip the Mercs for a minute. So, you know, this $16 grab bag from Jaeger's Poured Silver. Whoa, man, what a moneymaker. Oh, is that the same? There's that Death Dollar again, and that's Jaeger. I'm not sure if that other one is Jaeger or not. A couple of these are Silver Slacker, really, really low mintage, early release, not personalized, but unique to Silver Slacker and Jaeger. There are some Lions. But anyway, this is the kind of thing I would probably throw up. Look at the pucker on that bar. Hard to get pucker on a bar. And again, this was really cheap. It was during a slow period. You know, you definitely want to buy on the dips, and you want to buy on the valleys, not just the dips. So that's the kind of thing I would probably put in some kind of a grab bag, maybe sell 10 ounces at a time. Want to liquidate this stuff. I don't want to keep that for life. Harder to get rid of the personal stuff. Okay, let's go to the Constitutional, out of the sun here. So Constitutional, there was a great video by Guido Stacking recently that explained, or at least claimed, that, oh, look at the Katana bar. Jaeger Katana. There was a video that explained that there was a single individual that, when silver, this is just a couple months ago, was trading down in the 17, 18 times face area. What is that, a couple buck premium over spot? That's one individual bought $1 million of Constitutional. Now, there's plenty of Constitutional. Right now it's expensive. There will be a time when there is still plenty of Constitutional. The premiums will come down. Yes, they don't make any more of it, but there is so much that people will buy and sell it. And when the market is soft, the premiums come down. And when the market is super red hot, like right now, the premiums will go up. You don't want to be touching Constitutional right now. And again, it's the kind of thing that if we can get, up to 25, 30 times face on something like that, I would sell the Constitutional and wait for a lower re-entry point. I'm not a prepper. I don't live, somewhere where guns and butter are the way of life. I'm not actually that prepared from a SHTF scenario. But I think there are people that do want to prepare and use these as barter, and they're welcome to these when the time comes. I'll barter with something else. Doesn't have to be constitutional, especially at 25 times face. I don't need it. It's this is a luxury because I got it at a good price. All right, let's go on to well, let's see. What do we have left to talk about? I guess we'll just talk, huh? Try to get you a little view here. All right, so that's what is happening. I think we do have a bid under silver right now. Certainly gold has taken something like 3 runs at 2,000 recently. Now, anything could happen. There could be peace in Ukraine. There could be some other story out of Washington that could calm people down. But I do think that things are getting worse. And I do think, I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a lot of military aircraft in the air. The other day we had, where I live, what somebody said was an earthquake. Felt more like an underground bomb to me. Things are escalating, and the warmongers are definitely at work trying to escalate things. Russia, China, etc. Pretty much, except for Great Britain, pretty much everybody's our enemy at this point. And that's because our country has made that so, not because they're necessarily bad people. We've blundered recently, in my opinion, in many, many ways. But, I don't think the world is going to become a calmer place. I think the world is going to become a much harsher place. I do think that we are headed up on a period where I know you think, or some of you may think, that the banking crisis is behind us. Not even close. Okay, you only have to, apply some simple logic. All right, yes, we've lost a couple of banks. Yes, we had a couple of systemic banks give us concern. One of them is out of business. The other one's a zombie on life support, bailed out by the taxpayers of Switzerland. There's more coming. Now, it is the regional banks will slowly cease to exist. Okay, like a 4-leaf clover, you probably won't find that many going forward because people with significant money, and most of the money in the banks is significant money, not you and me, with our whatever 10 grand or whatever we keep in the bank. But there are people that have over $250,000, and all it would take is one event of a bank that Janet Yellen doesn't want to save, where people with those kinds of money in regional banks, businesses, etc., that had 1, 2, 3, 10 million, etc., in the bank, losing it, to send the world into a panic. But that's not what I'm most concerned about. I do think that more banks will show stress. Possibly they will increase the the FDIC up to $1 million. But this ball is rolling downhill, and the banks will show stress. We're kind of expecting that now, but we haven't seen the other shoes. All right, and this is a 3-legged man here. First shoe is the regional banks and some of the systemic banks. Second shoe is going to be the pension plans. All right, if you think our pension plans in the United States are better invested and more secure than the pension plans in the UK, for example, the ones that were temporarily bankrupt, recently, that they had to bail out. Your crazy. Pension plans are underwater for the most part. I'm talking about defined benefit pension plans where they guarantee you income for life if you work your 30 years. For example, did you know that one of the bigger pieces of the Inflation Reduction Act, Biden's big thing, went to bail out the Teamsters Union? Okay, we're reducing inflation by making the Teamsters Union pension plan whole. Now, of course, when your 401k goes down, and I think it will go down much more from here if you're in the stock market, you're not going to get a bailout. If you bought agency debt or treasury bonds when yields were 1.5% and now they're trading at 70% of par, you're not going to get a bailout. However, the Treasury is arranging to make some of these banks whole. Okay, the other leg of the stool is real estate, commercial real estate, collateralized real estate obligations. That is going down, guys. Commercial real estate is on life support. They call it jingle mail, and that's when the person that is obligated under the lease of a big office building just sends a box back to the owner, the lessor, with the keys, and it jingles as they get it. And what that means is, I'm out of your property. Sue me for what I owe you, but I can't sustain this. I'm laying people off by the tens of thousands. I don't need this real estate. Commercial real estate is going down. Commercial real estate is typically, the debt is typically guaranteed or issued by the regional banks. Okay, you see the circle here? So, and I haven't even talked about derivatives, because if the systemic banks go, the derivatives go, the entire world goes. So what will it be? Will it be warfare? Will it be, I lost my money in the bank? Will it be, God, I didn't think home prices would fall this much? Will it be, what happened to my 401k, Marge? We were going to retire on that. There's a lot of baby boomers and people, even in their late 50s, in retirement. Perhaps some of them went into retirement too soon, and that doesn't break my heart if they have trouble. But, what are these people going to do if the market does not rebound? Okay, and of course, markets always rebound. Eventually. And I'm not planning for the end of the world, and I'm not planning for the end of the financial markets. I'm not even planning for CBDC, although everybody says that's what's coming. I don't know if that's, a year away or 10 years away, personally. But it could be the stock market lingers down here after we get the big haircut. It could be the stock market lingers down here for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. I mean, could that happen? I wouldn't bet on 10 years, because there are people that, in our government that really want to keep the show rolling. Too bad that has plastic on it, huh? That would be much more attractive without the plastic. But there are people that want to keep the show rolling, so I think there will be a rebound. But it may not be for 2 or 3 years. Well, if you follow the bucket strategy, that's about how much you have in cash and short-term investments, and then you got to start digging into your stockpile. And what's rolling over now is the big Nasdaq companies are starting to show weakness. And when we have the Apples, the Netflix, the Amazons, the Metas, when we have those guys roll over, then you're going to see the true market. Right now, the mega caps are disguising the real weakness in the stock market. God, I'm so happy I picked that up. What a beautiful bar. It's in nice shape, too. That's an indulgence, right? I mean, if you're going to dump $2,800 on a bar, you better love it. Same thing with this one here, which I think I may have even paid $30 for that one. But, some people are going to be paying $30 for buffaloes here pretty soon, I think. So, you know what? That's an indulgence, but which you can do. I mean, if you put together, 2, 3, 4,000 ounces of silver, you can have some indulgences. And there's always somebody in this community, after you make a few thousand friends, there's always somebody that wants something like that. There's always somebody that wants eagles. There's always somebody that wants Mercs. And there are even people that want poured silver desperately. They want it desperately. I mean, all of the shit we took, 10 years ago about how we were morons for promoting, pouring, investing in poured silver. Well, look how wrong they are. That's one of my latest. Let me show you the one I really like that I poured with that shot. I got my shot around 21 bucks an ounce a while ago. Was not hard to find if you wanted shot. I really like this little 3-ounce bar. Hand poured, tumbled, polished. This was in a stainless steel mold. It's only 3 ounces. I love that little 3-ounce bar. That's for sale. Both these are for sale up on eBay. So there's so many different avenues in stacking, and aren't you glad you started? Aren't you glad you started? How would you have something like this? And I haven't showed you the gold stack because I do think you should be, in the 50-50 area in terms of value of gold versus silver. But if you hadn't started, what kind of April Fools would this be? This would be the kind of April Fools where you said, God, things are out of control and I haven't started yet. So start. Don't go crazy. Don't buy the wrong thing at the wrong time. You still some lower premium silver out there. I've seen $1.99 deals on generic. It's gonna be something like that. Just a plain old European bar. This is a kilo. The kilos tend to get cheaper as the dollar gets stronger, which could happen here shortly, and which could also put a headwind on silver and gold. But you can stay with the generic, and while you may be paying $24.17 spot, add $2 to that, $26.17. You could get into a kilo today if you really wanted to, if you didn't have any. But if you have, I think right now it's just going to be a wait and see. You got your 1,000 ounces, you got a little bit more. Let's see what happens here. I'd love to see a smackdown, but this time when there's a smackdown, kangaroos are always cheap, but they spot like crazy. Don't buy anything that spots, guys. Nobody wants spotted silver unless they're going to melt it, which is what I'm going to do with, this stuff here. That's very generic, and there's nothing wrong with that piece, but, it's basically a buffalo. There's a nice old buffalo. Now you can tell when it's made by somebody that really cared about their product. Has a whole different, that's a 2015, has a whole different feeling. One of these versus, yeah. So here's two different buffaloes. Believe it or not, there's a difference in buffaloes. I mean, not in retail price, but the new ones are, let's see which one's the new one. So the old ones are kind of smooth to the touch. They have better relief. They're typically a little more attractive on the image. The new ones tend to be, I lost it. Where'd it go? There. The new ones tend to be a little rougher, a little more serrated, feel less substantial. Anyway, there's a difference in buffaloes. If you're going to get some, you may want to get a better quality buffalo. Well, I digress, but what are you doing on April Fools? And talk to you next week. Let's hope for a good one. Bye, guys.